Hi Scorpio, and welcome to your past lives and soul contracts reading. We're going to start your reading off by rolling some dice to get a bit of information about your soul contracts, your karmic debts, all of those things. And we're going to pull some cards about your past life, and then we're going to look at soul contracts. So let's take a look. Okay, so for karmic debts, we have 3 showing up. So this life journey, there are 3 karmic debts in which you must pay back. You must settle. You must balance and solve. This could come through situations, but most likely this comes through relationships. So 3 karmic debts, potentially 3 really strong karmic connections this life journey. And again, we'll pull more about that. Next is your soulmates for this life journey, and we have 3 coming in. Now, this doesn't mean that you only have 3 soulmates you will interact with this life journey. It's just there's 3 people that are going to be very significant and most likely will be a part of your life your entire journey. And this is typically a more loving, supportive relationship, or there's a lot of growth. It can get intense and hairy, but it's more of a positive shift. It's not to pay a karmic debt. It's to, grow you and support you. Wow. Okay, Scorpio, so next out is your heart chakra. And if you see, there are 6. You got 6 showing up. And this means there are 6 people this life journey that you are going to romantically love. And it doesn't mean, like you're going to love them all the same. It's just this life journey, there's 6 people that are really going to be near and dear to your heart and soul romantically. So you might have a bit of a romance focus this life journey for your soul growth and evolution. And lastly, for your crown chakra, this is the soul lessons that you're working on this lifetime. You have 2 coming through. Obviously, there's more than that, but these are your main focus, like your major for this life journey. There are 2. So we will also pull some cards to look at that, but let's get right in and look at the main energy of the past life that's going to come through in this reading. Oh, lovely. I just want you to take a look and see if there's anything that feels triggered or activated within you by looking at this picture, because this is what represents you, your energy for your past life. And this is the mound builder hand. And this is typically associated with the Indians and U.S. South, tribes of the South. So I guess, I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. Native American Indians of the South is where this would originate from. And this is, unlocking the unknown, reaching into other dimensions, holding the secrets and mysteries of life within your soul, within your Akashic. So you were quite spiritual last life journey, and you may have been a Native American of the South, but in the United States, or you could have just been very closely associated with some of the Native American Indians, and you learned and you grew a lot from their teachings. So let's pull some more cards. I just know you were a very spiritual being, and the mysteries of the unknown are within your soul. So this life journey, you are, more in tune with your spirit. You could be religious, but I wouldn't say you're like devoutly religious. You would have the religion just kind of as a system to keep you grounded and to fall back upon when you get really confused. But you are definitely more of a spiritually based person, just kind of this beautiful free spirit. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so we have peaceful. What this tells me is your last life journey, this life, you had a very long and rich life, and you died quite peacefully, probably just in your sleep of old age. You did not suffer, and the people around you naturally missed you, but you lived a very long and full life. So that is always nice to see. Next is Rome. So this is giving us another location where you had an incarnation, and so we're going to get multiple past lives coming through in your reading, Scorpio, and not everybody's is like that. I get very specific, but for you, we have this connection to the Native American Indians of the South, and here we have a connection to Rome. So I feel there's two lives coming through, or you could have just been very well traveled. Okay, next out is growth. Beautiful. This long life that you had, you achieved a great deal of soul evolution, and that's why you feel so spiritual to me, this life journey. And again, it could be two lives coming through, and look at, we have the shell and then the butterfly. So yeah, definitely for some of you, this is two lives. And for others of you, this is like you were very worldly. You traveled to a lot of different locations across the globe, and you really learned about culture and religion and politics, you know, of a bunch of different cultures. You might have been... what is the word? I don't want to say scientist. Gosh darn it. I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for. It's hard in reading. Sometimes it doesn't come to me, but it may show up later in the reading. But it's like you could have been studying abroad, some of you, or you just had this really big fascination with a bunch of different cultures, and so you learned and you educated yourself, and you received quite a bit of soul evolution in this life journey, or these two lives. It was quick acceleration. It was a more of a focus of spiritual matters. You were not concerned so much with the material and the worldly. If you were, it's more of like speaking truth, raising vibration, you know, helping people think from themselves as opposed to just receiving what they're told and accepting it. So you might have been a bit of a renegade in these past lives as well, kind of pushing against the system and wanting to bring truth and light to all that you encountered, because with this here, you were not a person who was greedy or secretive or malicious or ill-intended whatsoever. And that's probably why this life you've incarnated with the Scorpio energy as your primary influence for your soul growth, because that energy is very intense. It goes very, very deep, and you've been preparing for a journey as such from the previous lives that you've had. So let's pull some more cards. And if you hear that galloping, my cats are running around being crazy, and I was like, oh, please just be calm and quiet, guys. I gotta get these readings finished. And they're just like, nope, not having it. So I do apologize, Scorpio. Okay, nice. So we have ships. This gives me some confirmation that some of you were very worldly, like you traveled to a lot of different lands in this lifetime. And now we have trees. This is speaking about how spiritual you were, but also that connection to the Indians. And under growth, we have lessons and blessings. Yep. You've been working to grow this soul of yours, Scorpio. That is your primary focus. And so in this life journey, you know, there's not like mother, father, a bunch of karmics jumping out in these past life cards. It's really talking about your spirituality and how traveled and worldly you were. And you've seen and experienced so many different things. That's why this life journey, people call you an old soul, and you just know random things, and you're interested in trivial information. You know, you want to know everything. You're like a sponge, and this is just a continuation from these you know, one or two past lives. This is a general, so I do feel it goes both ways. And then, you know, lessons and blessings, that's talking about the acceleration in which your soul has been evolving through these journeys. And we do have 3 karmic debts that must be paid this lifetime, and then we have lessons and blessings. So there is some imbalanced energy that, you know, is carrying over into this life journey. And we're going to pull more cards about that because, again, I don't feel that you were a negative being. You were you were not low vibrational. So these karmic debts may be where you had to, you know, do things that for the greater good of the all right? Maybe some of you may have been like soldiers even. That might be what this is about. So let's pull some more cards. And you know, we have ships, and it's like the Mayflower just jumped out at me. So we have a ship, we have Rome, and you know, we have the Indians there. I know Columbus did not come from Rome, but I do feel that some of you may have been a European that came over to the United States, and that's your connection with the Native Americans here. Okay, that could absolutely be. However, with the tragedy and darkness surrounding that, I don't feel like you were not somebody who wanted to hurt and conquer. You were just very interested and excited and enthusiastic, like you wanted to learn, to connect, to grow. You did not want to harm any person. So I do feel that that was a journey for some of you, and you might have recollection of that or thoughts of that. And you know, what I feel is when treachery was taking place, you would have defected against your own kind and joined the Indian and tried to protect them, is what I feel. And that's where it's like you had to do things for the greater good, and that's what these karmic debts are about, because I feel that you did betray, but you betrayed for the greater good of others. And unfortunately, energy is energy, right? And so there's a balancing of that this life journey, but it doesn't feel like crazy and intense for me, because the karmic debts is where you were protecting or doing something for the greater good of somebody else or a group of other people, for sure. Wow, I did not expect a message like that to come through. But let's pull these tarot. Okay, so we have the Hanged Man and the Fool, and this comes out on the ship. So you definitely traveled the world, not just to one land, because here you are, that beautiful energy that I keep picking up on. Here's this Fool, excited, on an adventure, on a journey. Let me learn and grow and experience as much as I possibly can. And this is very beautifully aspected in this position. You know, here there's some... the energy's not as stable, I feel, in this position. But this position, it's like the world is your oyster, and you are an adventurer, and you seek to discover, you know, like Star Trek, new life and civilization, but within the globe of, you know, Mother Earth Gaia. That's who you were, a traveler, an adventurer, really seeking to discover things, because here is the Hanged Man. So this is a shifting of perception. And how does that happen? Because you traveled and you turn into this, and you learned many, many things. And this isn't just about like spiritual things, it's about culture and beliefs and food and ways of being. You just, wow, you're very, very experienced, very well-rounded. Now we have the Eight of Swords and the Seven of Cups, and this comes out under the Rome, the trees. Again, this is where the karmic debts come from. I really feel that you betrayed, like if you were a soldier, you betrayed your troop, you betrayed your country, you did something along those lines. But I'm telling you, Scorpio, you did it to protect others, for the greater good of somebody else or for a group of other people. And so with that, it changed everything for you. You know, in a sense, I feel after that, like you kind of really disconnected and you had to sacrifice, like, because hangman is about sacrifice too. You had to sacrifice a lot for the protection or preservation of these people. I really feel like you were a protector. You rose up against and stood against, and it just caused a lot of chaos because you may have been somebody very high up in an order, or you had a lot of power and influence, and you know, the fact that you were a traitor to your people, you know, was a huge shock, but you did it for the greater good, and it freed you. Because with the trees here, there was always a moral dilemma, like within you. When you saw injustice, there's a moral dilemma within you, you know, which your beliefs, the way you had been raised, you know, what you were doing, what your mission was, and then the moral compass within telling you, no, this is wrong, and that's why you received so much growth, is because you went completely against the grain, completely against the system, to stand up and preserve and protect others. And you were a renegade for your entire life. Remember, you had a very long life and you died quite peacefully. And I feel those that you protected and stood up for, like, surrounded you. What you gave to them was returned to you at the end of your days. All right, under lessons and blessings, look at that. And growth, we've got the 10 of Pentacles with this old wise man right here. That is you. You received so much growth from this past life, or there's, for some of you, 2 coming in. And look at that. Now you have the King of Cups. Yep, Scorpio. You really achieved a lot at the soul, and you made very hard decisions that lesser men and women couldn't have made, and you really stood up and you protected, and it cost you dearly to do so, but the moral compass within is what led you and guided you, not the beliefs or the plan of others, even though that was just as much a part of you, and it was very painful to have to betray who you had to betray, but you did it for the greater good of others. And during that betrayal, there may have been some things that got a little sticky and dirty, and that's what these karmic debts are about. But I don't feel that the karmic debts are heavy and crazy. It's just really a balance of energy, because what you did was for the greater good of all. It's very beautiful what I feel about you. All right, let's pull some more cards. Protected. And look at Native American energy coming through again. I don't think you were one of the Native Americans. I don't. I think you were a European that actually stood up against and tried to protect them, because this is what we have. And in turn, in the end of your days, they protected you and gave you a proper send-off, back to all that is. Oh, that's so beautiful. They loved you. I would look into, like, history books of, dig as deep as you can dig of, people who really tried to protect and make a difference during that time frame of history, because you are such a beautiful soul. And look at this, we have spiritual lessons, and that's coming out under where we had to betray, and it's because you were given the choice to do and follow what you knew was right, or to just turn the other way and follow the system, go with the flow. And turning the other way would have been you would have been taken care of, comfort, luxury, abundance, but you could not do that. Your heart, you broke free. And look at that, spiritual mission. Yes, I knew you were something special. Here you are, turning all that ugly, dark energy back into something beautiful and good. And you have to remember, these energies of this lifetime come forth into the now. So you probably do have an attraction to the Native American Indians. You might not know why. Maybe you were born into the heritage, your physical avatar, this life journey may be of Indian Scorpion heritage, okay? It just, you have a very, very strong connection, but I don't feel in this last life that that's who you were. I feel that you stood up, you protected, or you tried, and you learned everything about them and their beliefs, and it made you a different person. It reconnected you to the land, to nature, to your divinity, which is something that you weren't fully aware of before this encounter, before this union. And again, you're very worldly. You traveled, you learned a lot, you saw a lot, and your heart always led the way. And then finally, there just comes this point where you have to make a decision, and you chose to betray, you know, the people that matter to you, relationships, your country even, but you did it for the greater good because what was going on was wrong, and you knew it, and you took a stance against it, which was not easy for you to do. And that's why you have this shield of protection, and it was part of your mission, all right, that journey. Okay, let's pull some more cards. Kitties are settled down for their nap, being good. They're like, okay, we'll chill out. We'll chill out for the read. All right, so we have contemplation, silence, knowing, releasing control. Look at that. Beautiful. And that's next to this protected energy. You knew what you had to do for the greater good, destiny, divine purpose, passion, service. I mean, there you go. It just keeps going and going. Scorpio, this life journey, you definitely have a spiritual mission. You are something quite special. The journey that your soul has had, all you've seen and gained, and all the evolution that you have grown into because of your journeys here, it comes into this life. That is why you understand people. That is why people are drawn into you. You are a very wise old soul. You're very healing. And there's also this element of you where you know right and wrong, and your inner compass always guides you. And sometimes that makes you so mad, right? Because you're like, why can't I just not care? Or why can't I be like this? It's because you're not made that way. You're something quite special. Your energy vibrates a bit higher, and you're meant to be a leader, a renegade, a healer, an advisor, a teacher. Next is, look at, yeah, it just doesn't stop. Crown portal, divinity, unity, separation. You were separated, but the choices you made brought you back into alignment with the higher realms, and disconnected you somewhat from the relationships and connections of the physical realm, your great sacrifice. But you made the right choice. Like this choice, your soul knew this choice would come along the journey, and it's very significant, and you made the right choice, even though it cost you. And here is the expansion that you received, and that sits right next to spiritual mission. That tells you, you know, that you are spiritually gifted and talented. Your intuition is real. You do feel things. You are a sensitive. You are an empath, and you know a whole lot more than you give yourself credit for. So it's time to expand into that. Really dig into your Akashic record so that you can have activations and remembrances to help you along with this journey. Man, like I said, you are something quite special. Okay, let's take a look at these karmic debts. And I've been pulling the relationship connection for that, but for you guys, I'm pulling the vice versa, because these karmic debts don't feel like normal, like in the other readings. It's like you had to sacrifice the preservation of you for the preservation of others. All right, yeah, look at that. Here's the Emperor, you being in control, you being a leader. And here's the Five of Pentacles. A lot of guilt, a lot of remorse and shame, but you had to do the right thing. You could not stand by and watch this energy play out. So you had to betray, like, your people, your country, your troop. I'm just like, I know I'm failing to capture it all, and I'm so sorry for that, but here is the card of that, like your guilt for that choice you made, but you see you're in the light, you're in the protection of spirit because you did make the right choice. However, it cost you pretty much everything that you had. Next out is the Ace of Cups. Yeah, so you were tempted, Scorpio. A lot has been offered to you, was offered to you, all right, to have you turn the other way, to follow suit, and you could not do that. So with these coming out as the karmic debts, it is 100% you betraying somebody, but it's more than one more than one person. Like this here could be, you know, I don't know all the terms for the military, but you know, who you were in charge, or who was in charge of you, or you were, you know, really close with somebody, because I do feel such a military connection. And then look at, you got the Emperor right here. You betrayed all of that, which goes to your country. Like you defected, and you let a lot of people down with that, and it haunted you quite a bit, because it's almost like in helping here, the information that you gave allowed people that you cared about to be hurt and harmed, and that hung over your head. All right, not that, and you got to remember, they did bad things, okay, but you still have attachments and, you know, honor and all of those things, and so it did hurt you, it haunted you, but you really knew at the end of the day you couldn't make any other choice. And this right here is the love of your life you also had to betray and leave behind for the preservation of others. And I think that really killed you. And the way that you did this left the energy very unbalanced. So that is a karmic debt. And then this, the people that got hurt and harmed because of, you know, the choice that you made, there's the karmic debt. And then there's somebody that really, really trusted you, and you let them down. And again, I just want to really emphasize that you did the right thing. You absolutely did the right thing, and Spirit has made that clear throughout this whole reading. But it, the way that you handled certain things could have been done better. It's an imbalance of energy. That's what karma is, and so that's the three that are coming through. So let's pull some spiritual cards about these. Two of Lessons, Four of Intuition, and Manifestations Mentor. So the love, the relationship of your life, you really left that person high and dry, and I feel you had children. I feel you were a masculine in this past life journey. Just the way this reading is unfolding, and it's like you left her to handle everything on her own and left her holding the bag. And again, you didn't really have a choice. The things that you did, you had to do in the moments that they presented. And then here, this karmic debt is something you kind of created for yourself. Again, there was people that were hurt and harmed, but the amount of guilt and remorse that you felt for that created a lot of heavy energy. Like you just could never forgive yourself for it. And that's part of a karmic debt this lifetime, which would be to forgive yourself, Scorpio. And here, this Emperor with the Two of Lessons, you and this particular person, you know, you've had some lifetimes together, and you both are working on a lesson with each other that just isn't getting fully grasped or received. And the interaction, like there's some negative interaction between you, and so this life journey, you have the opportunity to balance that energy and to end that cycle between you and this person. All right, so that was the karmic debts. And now let's get into, where do we want to go? Let's go to your soulmates. I want to look at them. We have three that came through. So let's see who they are, what they're about, how they play out in your life. So a Three of Emotions, Celebration, Date, Good Times, and Masculine Flame, Enlightened, Evolved, Yang. So this soulmate is definitely a romantic one. And I'm going to pull more cards as we go, but yeah, that is romance. Next is Four of Flames, Celebration, Roots, Stability. and compromise, flow, harmony, opposites attract. This one here feels more of like a friend or a family member that you are incredibly close to, and they always can get you grounded and reel you back in when you're on the edge. And now we have messenger of flames, stimulating messages or desires revealed. That's fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sag. This would be an Aries, this would be a Sag. So you got a lot of fire energy going on. And now we have the spirit guide, guidance, overseer, the unknowable. And I guess my cats decided no. Now they're trying to get into the cabinets. Oh, bad kitties. Okay. So this particular soulmate, this could be like somebody you kind of date and then it just turns into friendship, okay? Or this could just be somebody who is like a friend, a companion to you. And with the spirit guide, you guys have spent lifetimes together before, and this is just somebody that you enjoy and you have fun with, and the relationship doesn't feel like it goes incredibly deep like it does right here. But nonetheless, this is somebody who is special, and you both are sharing a spirit guide this life journey. There's connection from past lifetime that comes into this lifetime, though I don't feel that you guys are working out any sort of heavy life lessons, spiritual lessons through your connection relationship. If anything, it's a relationship that's fun and uplifting and supportive. So we have a romance, a really strong family member or somebody who's a friend that you consider family, and then this looks like a really good friend, like a friend that you meet in childhood and just goes with you all through your life. So let's pull some more cards. Manifestations spirit guide. So I love that a spirit guide came out for this soulmate. There is a spirit guide attached to this relationship as well, but this is like for you guys to always find your way to each other in every lifetime, or through any sort of separation, you will always find your way back to each other. So there is a spirit guide that watches over this connection right here, and I feel this is probably the main love of your life, to be honest. We do have 6 on that dice, but I feel this is the one, and there's a spirit guide that oversees this connection and makes sure that all that you guys have signed up for to learn and grow and expand into this lifetime, it happens and unfolds. And next we have 9 of lessons. So you will have a lot of life and spiritual lessons that play out in this connection. Over here we have the 9 of manifestations, and we have the past life portal. So this connection, this soulmate, is definitely somebody you were connected to in the past life that's coming through right now. And, you know, you both suffered a lot of struggle and oppression and just different circumstances, again, because the choice you had to make, you had to sacrifice everything. And I feel this was, you know, one of these Indians that you were connected to. You formed a very, very strong bond in this lifetime, and you were really there for each other. And this is the turtle, and so wise. You were so wise and resourceful for all of your journeys and travels last lifetime, as well as everything that's happened this lifetime. And you know, you guys are soulmates that are connected through many lifetimes, with the past life portal coming through like that. And over here we have the intuition mentor and the intuition spirit guide. Oh my gosh. This person may have been like your sibling or your like your twin, okay, in a past lifetime, and maybe even in this lifetime you guys are twins, or you're born like less than a year apart, or your birthdays are on the same day. And this, you know, because with the 2 spirit guides there, yeah, there's no way. There's some sort of twin connection, and I don't feel like this is the romance. This is not the romance. We have your twin flame right there. So this person, this soulmate, you guys were twins at some point in your incarnations together. No question whatsoever in that. because the two are right there, and the intuition spirit guide being the guide that came out for this. Yeah, and you are always connected at the soul. You really feel this person, they really feel you. You get them, they get you. And intuition mentor is you know, for those of you who are super spiritually based, this is somebody who you guys will spiritually awaken together and learn together and grow your spiritual gifts with each other. This is a soul companion. You guys, you know, connect on a higher level. But this, again, just feels like a friend or a sibling or a family member. This is not romantic at all. And your closeness, the soul bond, is because I swear you guys were twins. If you're not twins this lifetime, you were twins before. And you know, with the spirit guides showing up, you guys will always be connected. You will when they're down, you will sense it and feel it, and you'll reach out, and vice versa. This is so special. My goodness, like what's going on here is what everybody wants in their romance, this type of connection, but there's no romantic energy whatsoever. It's very spiritual, and it goes back many lifetimes. Strong soulmate right there. And then again, over here, this is your twin flame. This is the love of your life, the one that will stand out above all others. And again, you guys have a lot of lessons to learn with each other this lifetime. And you have a spirit guide that's overseeing everything with this person. All right, so now that we looked at the soulmates, let's take a look at the heart chakra here that is showing 6 different connections. So there are 6 people that are going to capture your heart romantically this lifetime, but we do see, Scorpio, that one absolutely stands out over the others, and you have that twin flame energy coming through. All right, so let's give the deck a really good shuffle to look at these heart connections that you will have this life journey. And remember, you know, the heart connections, the karmics, and the soulmates are all soul contracts for this lifetime. Nine of Emotions, Blessings, Magic, Synchronicity. So this is a beautiful love connection at some point in your journey. 5 of Roses, emptiness, guilt, insecurity. This is a negative romantic connection. In this 8 of Thoughts, blinded, projections, restrictions. This one brings about a lot of confusion. Here we have 3 of Thoughts, third party, deception, deep sadness. This one breaks your heart. There could be some cheating that goes on in that one. 4 of Thoughts, healing, recharging, rest. This is a maybe just a rebound type of relationship, or this could be, you know, the after all the duds, it's finally the one. And lastly, we have 10 of Thoughts, abandonment, betrayal, and loss. So this is a bad connection. Oh, Scorpio, it looks like you're going to have a few heavy relationships in this life journey. A lot of your soul lessons may come through romantic connections. However, this here, this 9 of Emotions, very positive. This 4 of Thoughts, very positive. So that twin flame we saw is coming through, and one of these right here, I feel it's more right here. This may have just been kind of a rebound, a really easy relationship that helped you heal. Because, you know, even though there's 6 people that capture your heart, this one right here kind of withers up. Emptiness, guilt, insecurity. Like there's a lot of jealousy and insecurity that play out, and that's ultimately the destruction of this. And then here in 8 of Thoughts, blinded, projections, restrictions. This is where somebody just can't get it together. They're very back and forth. There's a lot of confusion, and it's like you guys just can't ever seem to be on the same page at the same time. Right here, 3 of Thoughts, this is going to be a person that you really have deep emotions for, and you might think it's the one at some point, but there is some sort of like third party and deception that takes place, and ultimately that's what severs the relationship. And then you have this beautiful connection right here. And this is about, you know, a relationship where you feel safe and protected, and it's very healing to your soul. And then here, abandonment, betrayal, loss. This is another heavy one. And this could be, again, another person that you thought is the one, just because the connection is so strong. And remember, you connect so deeply with people because of all of the soul evolution of past lifetimes, and you're very spiritual, you're empathic, you're sensitive, you feel the vibes of everyone and everything. And so that's why it's very easy for you to fall in love and connect, because you love somebody for truly who and what they are inside and out. All right, so let's shuffle and get a little bit more information about these 6 relationships throughout your life journey. Oh, now my cat's trying to scale the walls. Okay, so we have 7 of Thoughts, gaslighting, ghosting, ulterior motives, twist of fate, big change, blessing in disguise, completion. So that one, you guys wrapped up some energy that you'd been working on for several lifetimes. And now we have this 4 of Flames. So yeah, this relationship really pulled the rug right out from under you. Divine masculine of emotions. Okay, this is where the twin flame is showing up. I thought it was going to be here, but nope, it's actually there. And now here we have compromise. Okay. So, pulling some clarifiers, what this tells me is this relationship, the 9 of Emotions, clarifying with the 7 of Thoughts, this is a relationship that it's something you really wanted, and then once you experience it, you realize it's not all it's cracked up to be. And I feel like you kind of just pull away, like you start ghosting this person. It's like it looked really good in the store window, then I bought it, took it home and put it on, and it was horrible. It looked terrible on me. I'm returning it. Like that's how I feel that you perceive this relationship right here. You know, this being ending the way that it is, emptiness and guilt, a lot of insecurity and jealousy. This could actually be where life events played out for you or for this person, and it causes a separation, but it's because that's not where you belonged in the first place. There's too much insecurity in that connection. And then here, this 8 of Thoughts is that energy that's back and forth. And with completion, you guys are just coming together in a romantic way this lifetime to wrap up some, you know, past life energies, and it doesn't feel heavy and karmic to me. This feels more about like lessons that you have been working on, and so your relationship is going to feel kind of like a lot of restriction. You guys are never in the same place at the same time type of energy, but you once you get over this person, you're over it. It's done. It's complete. You've learned everything you needed. Here, 3 of Thoughts with the 4 of Flames. This could actually be somebody that you marry, and it ends really, really badly. Cheating, deception, betrayal on their behalf or on your behalf, Scorpio. I mean, this is a general reading, but it's, you know, roots and stability. So this is why you guys, I feel, are married, or at a minimum you live together in this connection. And there's betrayal and lies that come to the surface, and that's what causes it to end. And so I feel this is very hard heartbreak for you. This might be your first intense true heartbreak that you have. And then I'll go to this one last, since this is twin flame. And then down here with the 10 of Thoughts, it's abandonment, betrayal, loss, and it's being clarified with compromise, flow, harmony, opposites attract. This is a connection where you and this person are like night and day. Okay, you are opposite ends of the spectrum. There is a lot of chemistry, but there's so much incompatibility that I feel the relationship becomes more destructive and toxic for both of you, because you're both trying to push your agenda. You know, come this way, no, come this way, no, I want this, no, I want that, because you're so far opposite ends of the spectrum. Okay, so that's why that ends, and I feel like it ends in a very unhappy way, like a big fight, or just things are said and done. That's very toxic energy to me, that one there. Now here, this divine masculine of emotions, awakened, romantic, sensitive, 4 of Thoughts, which brings healing, recharging, rest. This here, this is the soulmate. This is the one that I feel you end up with. you know, for the rest of your days. And it could be you back and forth with that person. I feel for many of you, you meet this person and it's just very steady and stable from the moment of meeting each other. And this is where you spend the rest of your days. This journey is with this beautiful soul. Could be a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Over here, well, this could have been a Sagittarius. We're not getting a whole lot of signs. You know, this would be Temperance, which is Sagittarius, but the rest not so much. So, all right, let's pull a spirit card for each one of these heart connections. Eight of Intuition. So this is about knowing when it's time to move on. And like I said, this relationship really feels like, oh, it looked really good in the window. I bought it, came home, put it on, and it was dreadful. That's what I feel happens here. Right here we have the Lessons Spirit Guide. So you and this person, where I do feel it's more of like life circumstances, separate through this relationship, the insecurity and jealousy. There's a lot of lesson and soul growth for you, and there's a spirit guide that helps you come in to the understanding and the clarity of this relationship. Next, we have the Lessons Mentor, and this is with this Eight of Thoughts and the completion. This here, there's a very heavy and hard lesson that you both learn from each other in this connection, just because that's the Lessons Mentor. Next, we have the Nine of Lessons. So again, this person, this Three of Flames with the Three of Thoughts with the Four of Flames, is a very significant. These two feel the most significant, maybe even that one, but I feel it just ends really badly. That's what that's about. These two feel your most significant loves, romances, and there's a long journey that you experience with this person. There's a lot of lessons to be gained, and you may stay longer than you should just because you're a bit afraid to be without this person. But here is your true love right next door. Manifestations Mentor. This is somebody who is going to teach you and grow you, not so much emotionally, but help you in the physical to manifest, to be successful, to believe in yourself, to believe in your power. Those of you that have like ideas, creative abilities, and talents, this person helps you grow that and maybe even start your own business, or really adds to what you've already created for yourself. So this person is very strong, very stable, and this would actually be some earth energy. So you got water energy and earth energy coming through for this soulmate, Aries, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. But this person is very protective, very strong and stable on their own, very wise and grown, quite mature, might be older than you. And lastly, this crazy relationship here at the end, we have the Upgrade. So this could be a Sagittarius or even a Cancer. And much like this relationship here, you receive an activation spiritually through your interaction and connection with this person, and you do grow quite a bit. And all of these, it's crazy, like all of your heart connections looks like it's packed with soul growth and life lessons, except for this right here, your one, your twin flame, your soulmate, where you belong. It's a much better type of energy. It's very stable through the earth energy, but it's also very emotionally healthy and connected through the divine masculine of emotions right there. So this is definitely your one. And I'm just gonna pull a few more cards about your soulmate, your twin flame, look at that journey a little bit deeper. All right. Now we've got fire energy coming in. I guess I'm not surprised because this is a general, but this is the divine masculine of flames, creative, intense, magnetic. That's your connection. If it's not speaking of the person specifically, this is your connection right there. Lovely. Two of Thoughts, blinded, denial, ego. So you might be a little reluctant and shy to open up and be vulnerable because of all these other situations, but this relationship is going to be very healing for you. And now we have the divine feminine of Thoughts. This is representing your energy, even though you are a water sign, and this says honest, intelligent, and talented. This is you wanting to be like truthful and authentic and open and vulnerable, but again, you are a bit afraid. And so in this connection, the way I see you is where you're very logical, you think things through, you know, you don't want to cut corners. And this person is very spontaneous and just full of energy and full of life. All right, next is the Nine of Flames, perseverance, stamina, tested. Yeah, you come into union with this person after you have been through quite a bit in the romance department. So there is hope for those of you that have been suffering these, you know, crazy relationships. Yeah, because all of those, it's like you've got to, what I see is, here's, because you got 6, and this is the 7 of roses, but what I feel is these are all the relationships that you go through to get to the right one, which is your one. And 7 of emotions, daydreaming, indulgence, infatuation. So there is a lot of chemistry and connection here. 8 of roses, expanding, evolving, learning. And this goes back to that manifestations mentor, where this person helps you become wiser about money and abundance and helps your financial situation improve in some capacity, and you learn quite a bit from them. Next out is the 5 of emotions, broken heart, missing you, remorse. So some of you, this person, you guys might have a bit of a back and forth, like you come together, you separate, you come back together, you separate. So there may be a bit of back and forth as you guys figure it out and get it right. Or you could live in separate locations initially, because this is about some distance. Now we have karma, balancing, divine order, reaping. This relationship fully solidifies once your karmic debts have been totally balanced and resolved, as well as this person. Now we have the luminaries, destiny, northern star, past life. You're meant to come together. You've shared past life together as lovers. Consciousness, kaleidoscope, perception, thoughts, big time shift in perception for you as well as this person. You know, once these karmic debts are paid, you come together, you just see the world with whole different eyes because of each other. And lastly, messenger of roses, invitation for building future plans. So here is where it really solidifies, and from this point forward, it's you and them till the end, and nobody can ever get in between. So that is beautiful. With your soulmates. And now lastly, we're going to look at the spiritual lessons, the 2 main spiritual lessons that you are focused on and working on this lifetime. And I just need to get all of these because I need those cards. Okay. Heater just kicked on, so I just shut it off. Okay. So I think it like sounds kind of loud on the video when it turns on. All right, 9 of activations, the Eternals, and the upgrade. Okay, so with the Eternals coming out, that's your twin flame, that's your soulmate. One of your areas of this spiritual lesson is going to be experienced with this person, and it's like everything you've gone through in this life journey is going to start making sense when you connect to this individual, because the frequency of this person is higher, and you guys have a connection in a higher based frequency of energy. And there's this beautiful upgrade and activation that takes place for both of you through this connection, and it leads you more down a spiritual path. But this relationship, it's like it makes everything make sense that you've been through with the Eternals. And now we have the 7 of manifestations, and this is the next spiritual lesson, the lessons totem, and the 5 of lessons. Okay, this to me goes back to all these crazy relationships that showed up, where you may struggle to really leave some of them behind and see the truth about things. It's like your love is so pure that you just see the best in them, and it's really hard for you to face the truth and cold facts of who and what they really are, and the underlying energies about them. It's going to be very hard for you in some of these situations, but this is part of your spiritual lesson and your soul growth, and you have an animal spirit that works with you. And this coming through, if you see it's the owl there, this is all about your intuition and seeing through the darkness, picking up on the deception. And once you see the truth, finally being able to let go and, you know, leave hope behind, because you know, when you're an empath and you're very sensitive, you are filled with hope for others, and you always believe that they'll find their way or that things can turn around. And that is a struggle that you will experience through some of these relationships, but ultimately it's making your intuition stronger and like pushing you to trust your intuition and your instincts much, much more, rather than the words or the actions of others that you deeply care about. So that is a big spiritual lesson that you're working on. However, when you align with this twin flame, when you guys are finally fully in sync, 9 of activations, everything that you have been through is now going to make sense to you, okay? And you're going to come into healing, and you're going to receive the upgrade, which means you have completed the spiritual lesson that you came here to do. So this is beautiful. You are a wise soul. A lot of your life lessons and spiritual lessons, this journey, are playing out through romantic connections and partnerships. And you do have those 3 karmic debts, but again, it's more of a balance of energy, because you did the right thing and you did lose and you did sacrifice to help out others in your past life. So those are your messages, Scorpio. I am sending you lots of love and light. Take care.